How did this freezing technology come about?
Back in 1970, the New England Journal of Medicine published a paper showing popsicle paniculitis. That's inflammation of the fat cells. And this was found in children who were teething and eating popsicles, frozen popsicles, and they found that the fat in their cheeks sunk in, that it had kind of disappeared. And so they started with that, and on that premise it started an entire process of scientific research and study. Back in 1980, there was what's known as equestrian cold paniculitis, and that was seen in young women who were horseback riding in the winter, and their inner thighs had shown this paniculitis and this flattening. So Harvard Research then looked at it, and back in 1999 through 2010, they have consistently shown studies that show freezing of fat, cryolipolysis, has worked very nicely, and it is a permanent reduction in fat.
Who is a good candidate for CoolSculpting?
So CoolSculpting is for that patient who wants non-invasive, non-surgical approach to fat reduction. It's not to lose weight, it's not a wow factor of it takes time. It's that factor that requires you're gonna sit, you don't wanna have surgery, you have pockets of fat, you have bra fat, you have abdominal fat that you've done 100 crunches every day and it doesn't go away. And you have a little bit of that back fat or those flanks that no matter how many twists and turns you're doing. Not a surgical candidate, non-invasive approach.
Tell us the specific parts of the body that are FDA cleared.
So abdomen is cleared, flanks, inner and outer thighs, neck, that chin, the double chin, and I can tell you that works phenomenal. I've done it on my husband and my daughter, and it's just sensational. And
now tell me how you, as a trained professional, went up to your husband and said, "Honey, I'd like to talk about your neck."
It was great. It was great. I said, "Barry, you want to come do it? Let's do it." And he sat down and we did it. He actually did it in the middle of his work day. He's a dentist, and he did it right smack between his break between two patients.
So now his dental patients are getting work done and they're looking up at his neck and they're, wow, my dentist has such a nicely contoured neck.
Perfect.
It's great.
It's great. He's a great trooper.
Well, he would have to be, I would imagine, because this is almost like the flip where now the wife is telling the husband, "Honey,
right,
you could get a little CoolSculpting. You know, that gym membership's not getting it done." How long does a session take?
So depending on which handpiece you have, if it's the CoolSculpting, it's 60 minutes per session, and Cool Advantage, which is what we just started doing, it is 35 minutes.
What are considered reasonable results?
So the studies have all shown a 22 to 25% reduction of fat in treated zones.
Now you're one of the leading offices for this type of procedure. Can you tell us a little bit about how and what made you want to get into this profession?
So one of the things about me that's different is prior to becoming a dermatologist, I was a family practitioner. When I look at a patient, it's a very unique approach. We use, my office staff and myself, we use a total body approach. And it's not just cosmetic dermatology, it's medical dermatology, it's a complete mix. It's all about the patient and what's important and good for them. I am a boutique-like practice. I do not schedule numerous patients per hour. I'm more interested in the just total well-being of a patient. So this fit perfectly because it's, again, non-invasive. It's exactly what patients want to fit into their day and be able to go to work afterwards or to resume their day.
Sometimes with new technology, there are new issues that come up. Is there anything regarding this new technology that people might want to be aware of?
So the initial grab under the CoolSculpting was a significant grab, but we got everybody gets through it, because once you turn the freezing on and they freeze, it's a very comfortable procedure. With the new Cool Advantage handpieces, it's a much more tolerable, it's much more comfortable. There's been minimal to no complaints. The side effects, you could see some bruising in the area, you could see a little bit of small red dots, you could have some pain afterwards. For women, I describe it in the abdominal area almost like menstrual cramps afterwards. Nothing that we haven't been able to treat with something like ibuprofen or Tylenol, acetaminophen, something like that. Nothing much more significant for that. The fat cells die 3 to 5 days after the treatment. So what happens is when those fat cells are popping, it's called apoptosis. It tends to, that's when you can feel a little bit of a twinge. I found when I did it on myself, I just pressed and it dissipated. But for the most part, that's it. It's just a little bit of discomfort. Nothing of significance. The one side effect that is less than 0.005% is considered the most significant of all, is one where you get a paradoxical fat growth. The one thing, you can never predict that. The numbers are 0.005% of the patient population. CoolSculpting as Zeltique stands behind if that happens and helps treat the patient.
That's great. Now, you have a website that I can find out more about this?
Sure. It's at srsdermatology.com.
Thank you, Dr. Rozenberg. This has been quite enlightening, and I believe you're going to do a demo now for us.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
So this is our patient Lori, and she's here. She's your perfect CoolSculpting patient. She is unhappy with this little part on her body, and as you see, I've already marked her. And what she did is grab, Lori, what bothers you? And so the X shows exactly where it bothers her, and we're going to treat this area and this area. So 2 treatment zones. And what I'm going to do is just put on this very cold protective patch of liner, gel pad. And this protects her top part of her skin, because again, we're going for that deep part of her skin. And what we're gonna do is now get her ready. Now the nice part about our machine is it's fail-safe, it's foolproof. If the temperature doesn't work right, if something goes wrong, the machine itself will cut off. And so it's a built-in mechanism. It's a built-in mechanism that they have to protect the patient. Okay, so what we have here is dual sculpting. So if Lori was a candidate and wanted, I could do this area and do a flank. It's very nice. We offer that to our patients, and patients as well can come with friends and do 2 at a time. And now we're gonna push this part to get a nice grab. I'm gonna push pretty hard on Lori. So we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, take a breath, and go. And now you can see it all sucking in. So now come sit down more. And what I would do is we make it so that the machine is all, the handpiece is held tight and the patient is comfortable. We give her a pull button and we start. And that's the end of how we start our treatment.